In the bustling city of Chicago, Illinois, where the skyline gleamed against the waters of Lake Michigan and nightlife pulsed with laughter, music, and bright lights, lived a woman named Sophia Carter. Sophia was 32 years old, a marketing consultant who worked hard during the day but valued the warmth of evenings spent with her husband, Daniel Carter. Daniel, a 34-year-old financial advisor, was intelligent, ambitious, and charismatic. A man who could walk into any room and capture attention with his charm. Sophia and Daniel had been married for 7 years. Their marriage was not perfect, but it was filled with mutual respect and the quiet comfort of companionship. They lived in a modern apartment overlooking the city lights, and their life seemed picture-perfect to those who knew them from afar. However, behind the closed doors of their beautiful home, challenges existed, like in every marriage. One evening, Daniel came home excited. He told Sophia that some of his colleagues and close friends were planning a private get-together, an informal night party at a friend's rooftop apartment downtown. He wanted her to come with him. Sophia wasn't particularly fond of loud parties, but she agreed because she believed in supporting her husband and also thought it might be fun to meet the people he often talked about from work. The night of the party arrived. Sophia wore a graceful navy blue dress that was elegant yet modest, paired with simple jewelry that sparkled softly under the city lights. Daniel, wearing a crisp white shirt and blazer, looked as confident as ever. Together, they stepped into the cab that carried them into the heart of downtown Chicago. The rooftop party was alive with music, laughter, and chatter. String lights hung across the terrace, illuminating faces of strangers and friends alike. Sophia immediately felt slightly out of place. Many of Daniel's colleagues seemed confident, boisterous, and talkative. Some were sipping cocktails while others were gathered in small groups laughing over shared stories. Daniel quickly blended in with the crowd. He moved from one group to another, shaking hands, laughing, and talking with ease. Sophia, on the other hand, found herself standing quietly by the bar with a glass of sparkling water in her hand. She observed the atmosphere, the mix of conversations, the sound of music, and the smell of food being grilled nearby. A colleague of Daniel's, Michael Johnson, approached Sophia. He was friendly and respectful, introducing himself as someone who worked with Daniel for several years. They began talking casually about life in Chicago, the challenges of their work, and the beauty of the skyline from the rooftop. Sophia felt slightly more at ease talking with him. But as the night went on, she began to notice something that unsettled her. Daniel seemed to be spending more time than usual with a woman named Laura, another colleague from his office. Sophia saw them laughing together, whispering in hushed tones, and even stepping aside from the group to talk privately. At first, Sophia tried to brush it off as simple friendliness. But the more she observed, the more her heart sank. Her mind began racing with doubts. Was she overthinking? Was she being insecure? Or was there truly something inappropriate about the way Daniel behaved? Sophia remembered their vows, the trust they had built over the years, and she reminded herself that trust was the foundation of love. Yet at the same time, she couldn't ignore the knot tightening in her stomach. The night grew louder. Music filled the rooftop, and people began dancing. Daniel invited Sophia to join him on the dance floor, but she politely declined. She didn't want to fake a smile when her heart felt heavy. Instead, she excused herself and walked toward the quieter corner of the rooftop where the city skyline stretched endlessly before her. Michael found her again and asked if she was okay. She smiled faintly and said she was just tired. Deep inside, she appreciated his kindness, but she didn't want to confide her worries to a stranger. Instead, she excused herself, deciding it was time to face Daniel. Later that night, after the party ended and the guests began to leave, Sophia and Daniel rode home in silence. The car ride was heavy. Sophia stared out the window while Daniel scrolled through his phone. Finally, she broke the silence. "Daniel," she said softly, "I need to ask you something." He looked up from his phone, surprised by the seriousness in her tone. "Were you too close with Laura tonight? I couldn't help but notice how much attention you gave her." Daniel frowned, his voice defensive. "Sophia, she's just a colleague. We were talking about a project. Why are you making it something it's not?" Her heart ached at his tone. It didn't feel like just work talk, Daniel. It felt different. And it hurt to watch. The argument that followed was quiet but intense. Sophia wanted honesty. Daniel wanted to avoid conflict. Their voices never rose to a shout, but the silence between their words spoke volumes. For the first time, Sophia felt a crack in the trust that held their marriage together. That night, she barely slept. Memories of Daniel's laughter with Laura replayed in her mind. She questioned herself, wondering if she was too sensitive, or if her instincts were guiding her to see the truth. The following days were tense. Daniel tried to act normal, but Sophia could feel a distance. Finally, she decided she couldn't let silence destroy them. She suggested they sit down and have an honest conversation. When they did, Sophia opened her heart. She explained how seeing Daniel with Laura had made her feel invisible, undervalued, and uncertain of their bond. Daniel listened, his defenses lowering. He admitted that he had been careless. He acknowledged that while his actions may not have crossed a physical line, they did cross an emotional one. For the first time in days, Sophia felt seen. Trust, once shaken, is hard to rebuild. But Sophia and Daniel made a choice that day, to fight for their marriage rather than let misunderstandings break them. They agreed to set boundaries at social events, to communicate openly about their feelings, and to prioritize their relationship above casual connections. Months later, Sophia looked back on that night with mixed feelings. The rooftop party had been painful, but it became a turning point. It taught her the value of honesty, the fragility of trust, and the strength of forgiveness. Their marriage wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was worth fighting for. Because in the end, true love isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about facing them, learning from them, and choosing each other every single day.